TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? It is Wednesday night. It is championship week. New Year's Eve is only a couple days away. And we got a special guest tonight. Walito, Mr. In the Comments, moderator, Team TFA, is rocking with me tonight. Cody should be here shortly. How you doing, Walito?
Hey, man. Doing amazing. Glad to be here. First time on a show. Kev texted me yesterday, asked me, why did you jump in today? Hey, anytime, man. We're here. Week 17, fantasy championships. How could it be? You can't have a better week than this.
I hear you. How do you feel being on this side of the show?
It's great to be on this side. We're gonna stop arguing in the chat. I'm here. You're here. Let's get it going here.
All right. So we already got a lot of questions in the chat, and waiting on Cody. When Cody gets here, we'll have a little three-man. So, anyways, Tyler, how you doing? Amari Cooper or T. Higgins this week? Where are you going with this one, Walito?
I'm gonna go T. Higgins with this one, and I really love T. Higgins this week. Especially in this game, Bengals against the Chiefs. I think this game could be absolutely nuclear. This is a game that has insane shooting potential. Shootout. Sorry. We saw it last week. He had 11 catches for almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is the number one in that wide receiver room. He's been getting an insane amount of targets from Joe Burrow, and that's not going to stop this week. The Bengals are going to have to throw. We'd see Joe Burrow throw 40-plus times again this week. And I don't think that's going to be the case for Dallas against Arizona. I think that could also be a shootout, but I love this game a little more. Chiefs Bengals.
Yeah, so this game has one of the highest totals on the slate. It's been bet up from a 49.5 up to a 50.5. So it's one of the few games that are actually on that are at a 50 that are above 50 on this slate. The Cowboys and the Cardinals is the other one on that one. This will be an interesting game because, with the Chiefs defense, we've seen them really kind of turn a corner over the last really 2 months of the season when they've been on this amazing eight-game winning streak we've seen. But I don't know if they faced really an offense like this over that span to test this to test this defense completely. Because, they played the Cowboys, but Amari Cooper was out in that game. CeeDee Lamb got hurt after the first half, and that was also at home. This game was going to be on the road. So I do think T. Higgins makes for a pretty nice start here, and I think that's who I would go with is T. Higgins on this one. Let's see. Didn't make it out of the semis. Really appreciate your help this season, battling for the bronze now. But would you go with Lockett or Jamar Chase?
It's tough because Tyler Lockett plays the Lions this week. He has a great matchup this week. But as we just, could go Jamar Chase for just the same reasons we went T. Higgins. But I think I'm going to go Jamar Chase. But it's very close. But I'm probably going to go Jamar Chase because I just cannot trust the Seahawks offense. Even in great matchups, it just haven't been good. And I think we can expect the Seahawks to just run the football all game long and just maybe see Russell Wilson not even throw 20 times. So I'm going to go Jamar Chase.
That's exactly where I'm at with this game. That's why I like Rashad Penny so much this week. He's been, in the must-start running back video that I did that we released this morning. I've had a ton of questions all day about starting Rashad Penny, and I'm going all in. I'm going all in. I've been telling people for weeks that Rashad Penny is a league winner. And, 2 of the last 3 weeks has been a top 10 running back, and I don't think anything's going to change here. We know Seattle is a run-first offense, and they want to run the football because Pete Carroll is stuck in the 90s and the way he coaches. And so against the Lions, I don't see any reason for them to go away from that. And, there'll be some play action here and there to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett for sure. But I think Jamar Chase, and I think there's a decent shot that they get down early in this game and force them to throw the ball. The Chiefs have been really good against the run. Over this 8-game stretch. So they've shut down some pretty good running backs. They really haven't let any running back outside of Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson. But in that game, Chris Jones was out in that game. Everybody's back for the Chiefs. All 53 of their starting roster outside of Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back for this game. Nick Bolton, Chris Jones, all these guys are back that they've been missing over the last couple of weeks due to COVID. They're all back. So there's no worry there. So I preferred Jamar Chase here in this one as well. All right. Ben Flash, Devin Singletary, or Dawson Knox?
I think I'm going to go Devin Singletary on this one. I like Dawson Knox. Obviously, it's a matchup against the Falcons. Their defense is absolutely terrible. But we've seen Devin Singletary really become the running back one in this room, in this backfield. Because we saw him, split touches with Zach Moss and Matt Breida for some weeks, but the last 2-3 weeks he has really become the number one there. And this matchup against Atlanta, it doesn't get any better than this. So I think we could see Singletary potentially run for 100 yards and a touchdown this one.
Yeah, I love Devin Singletary this week. I think he's in for a great spot. It's over the last 3 weeks, he's handled like 70 or 80% of the backfield touches of the snaps. He's also been heavily involved in the passing game as well. I think over the I want to say the 2 of the last 3 weeks, he's seen six plus targets. Great matchup this week as well. So I don't mind Dawson Knox, but I think having Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis back, now you're talking about a ton of different weapons here for this offense. I just think Devin Singletary makes a lot of sense. Build an early lead, run the rock with Devin Singletary. So I would probably do the same as well. All right. What's the next one? Compa Benny. Which 3 running backs should I start? Aaron Jones, Najee, Rojo, Joe Mixon.
Ooh, it's a good one. I think I'm going to sit. Man.
I'll say this for this one. So for me, I'm a little bit like there's a part of me that like I think like listen, the matchup is absolutely electric for Ronald Jones, right? This is the worst run defense in the league, not even close. They're just absolutely dreadful against the run, right? And so, but the only thing that worries me is that is that if he doesn't, he very easily could get sniped at the goal line. Brady throws it in and doesn't give it, because if he doesn't get touchdowns, he's going to be very limited, right? Because he is not heavily involved in the passing game. He did see 3 targets last week, which is a little bit more than I even thought he was going to see. But unless he gets more than that, he is going to be limited unless he scores a ton of touchdowns, which the Bucs are in a lot of ways like the Bills, where they typically lean more towards the pass than they do towards the run. And that's the only thing that really worries me about Ronald Jones this week, is that he may not have a really high ceiling because the Bucs choose the pass instead of the run, right? Because the Jets are just as bad against the pass they are against the run. As far as the other running backs here, Joe Mixon does worry me, like I mentioned, about the Chiefs defense and being able to really shut down opposing defenses, especially on the run game. And so that he does worry me, but I can't sit Joe Mixon for Ronald Jones. And then you have Najee Harris, which is scary because Najee Harris just hasn't been Najee Harris. It's been so weird how how things have switched with them over the last 4 or 5 weeks, because they've really stopped utilizing him as a pass catcher as much as they were earlier in the year. And I really don't understand why. This offense has been dreadful. He did see 7 targets last week, which is kind of what got him there at 16 fantasy points, right? But other than that, like, it hasn't been great for Najee Harris. He's had some bumps in the road, but I'm still not sitting Najee Harris against Cleveland. And then you have Aaron Jones, and I can't sit Aaron Jones either. So for me, I think I'm going to sit Ronald Jones, just because I would feel real ridiculous for sitting one of these other guys, and then Ronald Jones gets you 10.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if I can sit a running back that plays the Jets, especially with Leonard Fournette out. There's really no one else in this backfield, right?
Keyshawn Vaughn, baby. Keyshawn Vaughn. 7 for 70 in a study.
We did see Keyshawn Vaughn had a big one. He had 7 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Ronald Jones, like 55 of the 70 yards came off the one run.
Yeah. But Ronald Jones, if he gets 20 carries again, we could potentially see him go for 150 and 2 touchdowns.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, and I do agree that he could get those touchdowns stolen by Brady at the goal line, maybe a QB sneak. I don't know, throw it to Gronk. But I think I'm going to sit Najee Harris in this one. I know.
Walito coming from the top rope already. Sitting Najee Harris for Ronald Jones.
I mean, I can't sit Joe Mixon. I know it's not a great matchup against the Chiefs, but that's what we said last week against the Ravens. We said the same thing as the Ravens. The Ravens have been great against running backs, and Joe Mixon just went absolutely crazy. I think at 31 fantasy points. So, and he's been getting more involved in the passing games lately. So I can sit Joe Mixon. I cannot sit Aaron Jones against Minnesota. We know how bad Minnesota is against the run. And Cleveland really isn't bad against the run. They have a pretty good run defense. And, as you said, he's not getting as much involved in the passing game as he was early on in the season. And so if this Steelers offense continues to struggle, they've struggled to find the end zone, really. So I think I like the chances of Ronald Jones finding the end zone more than Najee Harris.
We got Cody rocking with us from the garage. That's what I love to see. That's dedication there. Jumping on the
straight garage band. Straight garage band.
I've thought about setting up my setup in the garage just because, so I don't have to deal with some stuff. But I couldn't do it because it gets really cold. I don't know where you're at. I'm sure it's cold there too. But unless you have a space heater, I feel like, and the audio, I don't think would be nearly as good.
Yeah, does it sound awful now?
No, it doesn't actually sound that bad.
There's a lot going on in here too. And there's actually a wall heater, so I don't have to worry about that. Got the setup out here. Kev hits me up. He told me Walito was going to be on the show. Everything was going to go good, and then he hit me up. He's like, "We didn't even start yet, so here I am to save the day."
Hey, that's why you get paid the big bucks, right?
I'm sitting Aaron Jones in this one.
Ooh.
Oh, so we're just all over the place.
We just all disagree.
Okay.
Just sit Joe Mixon. No, just kidding. Just playing. But
it's a nice problem to have, but
yeah,
you're looking at Aaron Jones over the past couple of weeks. I know he's just been coming back from he had that 1 week off as well, but 12 carries. He had 17 total touches last week, but that was because he got 6 targets. The week before that against Baltimore, it was 15 touches. Kev, I know where you're coming from with not wanting to sit him because out of these running backs, he is the guy who could potentially go off for 4 touchdowns like we've seen him do before. But I just feel like the usage is safer with the other guys. And it does not feel great sitting Aaron Jones for Ronald Jones. But I think in that matchup, that's really tough to turn away from. If he wasn't very efficient with those carries last week, but if he's getting close to the same carries going up against the Jets, who have just been absolutely demolished against the run week in and week out all year long, that's tough.
So
yeah. So all right, those are the cases, for it. For this week. Like I said, I think all of them, I believe I have all of them. Yes, I have all of them in the top 10. So I really don't think there's really a bad option here, to be honest, because I have Aaron Jones at 8. I have Najee. What do I have now? Najee at 9. And then I have Ronald Jones at 11. And Joe Mixon at 5. So I digress. AO in the chat. Start 3. Mixon, Monty, Rojo, or Najee. Another one. Not easy decision. So the thing that I found, because like I said, I had that video and I've been answering a ton of questions. Must Start running back video we did today did very well. We had a lot of questions out there. And all day, I was getting hammered with Rojo, Cody Michelle, Rashad Penny. All of these guys are just in great spots this week, and it's really hard to make a decision because this is not an easy decision either. But again, I'm gonna sit Rojo here.
So, do we know who's gonna play quarterback for the Bears this week?
I don't think it matters. They're playing the Giants with Mike Glennon, you know?
But
I mean,
I just think that if it's Justin Fields starting, I just don't think we're going to see David Montgomery get any targets, because David Montgomery has been very involved in the passing game without Justin Fields playing quarterback. We've seen Andy Dalton play quarterback.
I don't know. Justin Fields started against the Vikings, right? He saw 6 targets in that game. 6 targets, 5 receptions, 83 total yards. He just didn't find the end zone. I mean, so I don't know if that really adds up either.
I mean, I think that was the first game David Montgomery saw 5 targets, like 5+ targets with Justin Fields. Like the games before that one against Minnesota, he wasn't involved at all in the passing game.
Well, you have to remember too, though, he missed a lot of the games that Justin Fields started. I mean, because he was out from weeks 4 through 9, or 5 through 8, which was a lot of what Justin Fields played, and then Justin Fields went out again, and so. But again, I just don't. I mean, I don't really see Mike Glennon or Jake Fromm or whoever the hell they decide to start a quarterback that's going to be able to push the offense here to force them to have to throw the ball. Like, I don't think they're going to have to. I think you see David Montgomery see 20, 25 carries in this game and probably 2 or 3 targets, something like that. And, this is a great matchup. The Giants are really bad against the run. I mean, I know they're in the top 10 or the bottom half of the league in terms of stopping the run. And so, I mean, I like money a lot. And so, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sitting Najee Harris, and I'm not sitting Joe Mixon.
I think I'm probably sitting Najee Harris again then. Yeah.
I'm going to sit Rojo in this one. If you're worried about the pass game involvement for Montgomery, you have to be worried about it for Rojo as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ronald Jones is not involved in the passing game really at all. Never has been.
And anytime I cannot say Ronald Jones, I'm not going to say Ronald Jones.
I just feel like he's so damn volatile with how they decide to use him, and they pull him at the moment's notice. And if he fumbles, what happens there? I mean, I know that's like, I'm not going to sit there and count on that, but he's just so damn volatile that it makes me worried to really go all in him. Yes, this is a terrific matchup against the Jets, but like I've said, I very well could see them just throw the ball in this game as well, and not lean as much on Ronald Jones. Like, I don't know, it just scares me. And also, is Le'Veon Bell going to be active for this game? Like, what do they do there? And stuff like that. Like, Le'Veon Bell wasn't active last week, but I would assume he's going to be active this week. And so if he is, I don't know. Like, this could end up being like a three-headed attack here, committee, and maybe he doesn't get the type of work that we see. Like, I still think he's a good play over a lot of running backs, and it is against the Jets. But we're talking about 3 guys here that are like, in the all usually week in, week out, top 10 running backs. We're not trying to decide between Chase Edmonds and Ronald Jones or something like that, where there's a little bit more volatility here. I mean, these are guys that are locked into their roles. All 3 of the running backs that we mentioned, Najee, I mean, he's still seeing a ridiculous amount of the touches. Same with David Montgomery here. I mean, Montgomery's seeing a 77% snap share, 80% opportunity share. That's absolutely elite level touches. And so I don't think anything changes here. And same with Joe Mixon. Like, all these guys see a ton of touches, and I don't know if you can say that about Ronald Jones. I don't think he's at that level.
Agreed.
So, also, how do you feel about Dallas defense this week? I think they're okay. I mean, they've been a very, very opportunistic defense, right? And I mean, I don't know how much longer this can keep going on of them, getting, defensive scores. But, I don't mind them, but I think there's probably some better options here.
I think you could tempt fate and try and go back to the Chargers going up against Denver. I'm sure they've been dropped after, how disappointing they've been, especially over the past 2 weeks, and last week losing to fucking Houston. So they might be available. I feel like I said, I think I'd rather take a shot with LA going up against Denver. It seems like we're going to get pitiful ass Drew Lock once more, since Teddy has yet to clear concussion protocol. Like the Seahawks potentially available going up against Detroit, which hasn't been as fruitful as we would think it has been with, how bad Detroit's record has been. They've been hanging in there. I think it is potentially slightly telling that the Lions gave Tim Boyle the access to the press today. I think it was. So instead of Goff, so maybe we're looking at another week of Goff being out. But yeah, Dallas has just been, like you said, Kev, like super opportunistic, and I don't know if we see the same type of opportunities present themselves against Arizona.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Saquon might not play. You know what? That might actually be a good thing for us, Ashton, to be honest with you, to force people not to play him. Because at this point, things have been pretty rough for him. Anyways, A.J. Dillon, Ogunbowale, Derek Gore, or Latavius Murray. This is a group here.
That is one way of putting it.
I think Saquon plays. Didn't practice today, but
yeah, we don't care about Wednesday.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
We don't care about Wednesday practices.
But I probably think Saquon plays. But if he doesn't, I'm gonna go with Ogunbowale. I'm just gonna go with the guy who's gonna be the running back one in his backfield this week. We saw him last week. I think he had 17 or 18 carries with James Robinson leaving the game early. So I mean, I think there's only one running back among these guys that is gonna get 20 carries. I think that's Ogunbowale. So
yeah, I mean, played 84% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Ran 29 routes, targeted 4 times, 72 total yards, scored 15.2.
Yeah.
So
He's
he's definitely a pass catching running back. They're definitely probably going to be trailing in this game against the Patriots, and so yeah, I think you could go there. I mean, A.J. Dillon, I think, also makes a lot of sense. Going up against the Vikings, where they probably get a lead because the Vikings are not good. But I do think that game has some potential to be a back and forth affair where you see more Aaron Jones than you do A.J. Dillon. I mean, so I probably go A.J. Dillon, but I actually don't hate Dare Ogunbowale in this spot, because he is going to be the lead back. And if he's going to see 80% of the snaps in this backfield, I mean, and this could be a situation where, they could just continue to run and, kind of like what we saw last year with the Bengals at time, when they would, even though they were trailing by 30 points, they would still just keep running the rock with Joe Mixon, with just disregarding even trying to win, because obviously they're not going anywhere. And so I don't really hate that. I mean, I think that, but though I just don't love the matchup. The Patriots have been pretty good this year against the run. So,
yeah,
I lean Dillon as well.
Yeah. Emilio, RB2, Swift, Walito's boy, Edmonds, Javonte, and Flex, AB, Renfro, or Higgins.
I gotta go Javonte. I don't want to dick around with Swift. I know he practiced in full today, but a 3-headed committee, I don't know.
As much as it hurts me to say this, I'm gonna go with Javonte Williams.
Had to cover up his mouth while I said it too.
Oh
yeah.
No! You gotta. Listen. Look at this. Walito has a heart with DeAndre Swift as his Avi on YouTube, and he's not even going with DeAndre Swift. Things you hate to see.
I just don't know how much DeAndre Swift is going to be involved in this one. It's going to be his first game back from injury. Jamal Williams is also back. We've seen Craig Reynolds be pretty good when given opportunities. I get this is a matchup against the Seahawks. I know this Seahawks defense has been awful against the run and against the pass. Doesn't matter. But I just don't know how much is going to be involved.
Well, who would have thought this is where we'd be? I'm all in. I'm going DeAndre Swift. I'm not passing up on somebody with this type of ceiling. He's practicing in full. This wasn't a leg injury or anything like that. It was a shoulder injury. And so if he's back, he's practicing in full. Like I've said, there's no reason for them to rush him back or even play him if he's even only 70% at this point. They're done. So if he's 100%, he's ready to go. And I do not think that Craig Reynolds is going to take touches away from DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is should be your king, but apparently he is not. But I am going with DeAndre Swift here. He is the only guy of this group because Javonte has Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's not going away. You have Chase Edmonds with James Conner coming back or likely coming back. Now this changes my opinion. If James Conner were to miss because he has that heel injury, if he were to miss, then I would maybe have a little bit more. Because Chase Edmonds last week played 92% of the snaps, right? He's targeted 9 times. And so then I would probably go Chase Edmonds. That would be my answer. But if James Conner is back, lock in DeAndre Swift. Top 5 DeAndre Swift before he got hurt, I might add. And now we're just leaving him for dead. Flex. This is absolutely rocket. This is easy for me. It's AB, and it's not even close. I have AB as a top 5 option. He's going to see a massive amount of targets. I'm going AB.
I'm going to go T. Higgins.
Oh.
AB for me as well.
I'm going to go T. Higgins in this one.
Why do you hate Antonio Brown?
I don't hate Antonio Brown. I mean, it's just, as I said, we know the Bucs. I get that the Bucs throw the ball. They're going to keep throwing the ball, but I mean, is it out of the range of possibilities that they just run the football? And
it's not.
Yes, but it's out of the range of possibility.
It certainly could happen, right? But it would be a shift from what they normally do, right? They are number 1 in team pass plays per game on the season, okay? And they've been in plenty of positive game scripts this year, and they choose to throw the ball. And so I don't think that's going to change. And I mean, I don't even know if Mike Evans is going to play this week, but I mean, last week, limited Antonio Brown saw 15 targets. 10 receptions, 101 yards, 20.1. And even when they had Chris Godwin, even when they had Mike Evans, he was still their wide receiver 1. I mean, he scored 23.7, 31.4, and 24.3 with all of those guys active. Now none of them are. Like, he's going to see just a ridiculous amount of targets, and that's not going to change. And they crushed the Panthers last week, and he saw 15 targets.
I'm going to say this. I think T. Higgins could see just as many targets as Antonio Brown. It happened last week. T. Higgins had 14 targets.
But they were also playing against the 4th string cornerbacks of the Ravens.
And Burrow dropped back, 50 times, 40 times?
Are the Chiefs cornerbacks scary? I mean, I don't think Chiefs cornerbacks are going to keep up.
I think the pass rush is going to give Burrow a lot of fucking trouble.
I think it could, but I'll say this: if Mike Evans plays, I'm going to go T. Higgins. If Mike Evans does not play, because I think Mike Evans plays this week, but if he doesn't, then I'm going to go Antonio Brown.
That is what we call #HedgeLife.
And that is from the CEO of Hedge Life.
That's from the band leader.
Yes. What?
We're on Wayne.
Oh, I apologize, Wayne. Need 2 flex in the standard. Lamb, Waddle, Darrell Williams, AB, and Singletary. And remember, this is standard.
Man.
I'm going to lock in Devin Singletary just because it's standard. If this was PPR, I'll be all in on Jalen Waddle. But I don't know in standard.
Man, this is tough.
Yeah. I think for me it is, I'm going to go with Antonio Brown, and I'm going to go with Darrell Williams.
So why Darrell Williams over Singletary?
Because CEH is going to be out. We've seen what he looks like without CEH. And while yes, it's not PPR, they're still going to utilize him. Passing yards still count. And I know Derek Gore was involved, but Derek Gore, people are going to overvalue Derek Gore last week. But they were also just smacking the shit out of Steelers last week. They had no reason to keep running Darrell Williams out there at that point, right? And so they pretty much put him on ice, and then they let Derek Gore do his thing now. And like I said, we've seen this show before. Like Darrell Williams was solid as a starting running back. Whenever Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out, it's the biggest reason why I think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is probably done as the lead back in Kansas City. Regardless of that, this is I think he has the highest ceiling in terms of scoring a touchdown, because that's kind of what we're looking for here, right? In standard, I mean, touchdowns are absolutely king in standard leagues, and so for me, I'm going to go with more of the running back here. I don't mind. I think CeeDee Lamb is certainly interesting, and I think Jalen Waddle certainly is, even in a non PPR. But I just lean towards Joe. I have Darrell Williams as the top 10 running back this week.
I'm going to go AB and Singletary.
Same.
I just think it was Cincy's run defense, they have been better where they have gotten gouged, and where if you just look at where they're giving up in terms of their fantasy points per game on the year, a lot of it has come through the air. They've been terrible against the pass with running back. So I think with Singletary going up against Atlanta, good game script, that's where I'm going to lean with between those two. And this is Amari for me for compa.
Yeah, I'm going Amari here too. All right. Tyler,
just real quick, where'd you guys go for Tyler's question on Higgins or Cooper?
T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Okay.
AJ Brown or Antonio or AJ Brown or Antonio Brown?
Ooh, this is close.
I'm going Antonio Brown, but it's super close.
Ooh.
Same by a smidge. When are those close?
Tyler, I don't know if you've said, but Tyler, who else are you starting at wide receiver? Because for me, it would have to be either Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, Diggs, Devontae, or Cooper Kupp.
Is Julio playing this week?
Is Cooper? No, I think. I don't know. It depends, because I think he got put on the COVID list, right? But with the new protocols and everything else, he could possibly, test out.
I think I'm gonna go AJ Brown.
It really doesn't matter to me though. If Julio Jones is playing, he was playing last week against San Francisco, and it did not matter.
I mean, even if when Julio is playing, he has been terrible. I mean, not terrible, but hasn't seen any targets. So
I think it's time for Julio to retire.
He was put on the COVID list 2 days ago, so it was the 27th. So does have a better shot to come back.
The new COVID protocols have been confusing as all get out.
Yeah.
But they keep changing it every day. But anyways, so I guess we're all in agreement here. Antonio Brown.
Nope, AJ Brown.
Oh, well, of course, somebody wants to be different. Would you start St. Brown over Antonio Brown or Higgins? I would start ASB over T. Higgins. I would not Antonio Brown.
Oof.
Walker,
Kev out here with a fire.
Flames. I'm so happy to see it, and I don't care if it's because TJ Hawkinson and Swift have both been out. It has been so good seeing Amon-Ra.
I cannot get myself to play a Lions play over T. Higgins if it's not DeAndre Swift.
Well, you wouldn't even start DeAndre Swift, so that doesn't even count.
Well, I mean, but the man has averaged 22.5 PPR points per game over the last 4 weeks.
Not over AB, but I think there is a discussion to be had with T. Higgins.
I just feel way safer with T. Higgins. And I don't think the Lions are gonna have to throw as much, because the Seahawks offense has not been good. They're dead last in time of possession. So they're almost never on offense. So I don't think the Seahawks are going to put many points on the board. So I don't think the Lions will have to throw maybe 30, 40 times this week. And DeAndre Swift is back this week, so I just think we know how bad the Seahawks defense is against the run. So I think the Lions could possibly run the ball a lot more than we think. Well, that's not going to be the case with the Bengals because the Bengals are probably going to be forced to throw the football.
I mean, the Lions are going to be forced to throw the football. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think Seattle's offense.
I think it could be. I think this could
them.
be very back and forth because
very well could, but that still means that you're going to have to throw the ball. And like I've said, 12 targets a game for good old Amon-Ra St. Brown. And like I said, the Chiefs offense over the last couple of months, I mean, they have been locking down opposing wide receivers. And I mean, T. Higgins can be a little bit volatile himself. Now he's really bounced back. He's only had one down game, and that was against Denver, where he scored 4.3. But even before the monster 43.4 that he put up, I mean, he still put up 16.4, 28.8, 23.4, and then that was kind of the other than that, it was a lot of low ceiling games, 13, 13, 13, 7, 3.5. I don't hate T. Higgins. It's just Amon-Ra St. Brown has just been seeing a ridiculous amount of targets because they just don't have anybody else. Even with DeAndre Swift back, you still have nobody else to throw the ball to, and so
has T. Higgins. He's also been getting a lot of targets.
Yeah, but this is also a much different matchup. This is
it's close, but at the end, I'm gonna take the guy on the better offense in the game with the higher points total. And I just don't see why, I could possibly start Amon-Ra St. over to Higgins. Yes, he has been getting targets. He's been, the main, pass catcher on this team. But I think T. Higgins is more likely to find the end zone than Amon-Ra St. Brown is. So I'm just going to go T. Higgins, but it is close. But I just can't do it.
By the way, I think both of you said T. Higgins anyway. So
did Cody say T. Higgins?
I said there would be a conversation with T. Higgins, but definitely not over AB.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. I'm not. There's no way I'm playing Amon-Ra St. Brown over Antonio Brown, but I think it's still close. It's really close between the two of them, between Amon-Ra and T. Higgins. If you want to go Higgins, I get the point, and I get the argument. Anyways, hello there. Pick one running back from Ronnie and two wide receivers: Boston Scott, Ramondre Stevenson. I guess that's Jeff Wilson and Kareem Hunt, and wide receivers DK, Ayuk, MVS, and Lazard. So with Boston Scott, Jordan Howard did not practice today. Nick Sirianni talking about the situation didn't sound all that positive with the stinger that Jordan Howard has, and it sounds like he may end up missing this game. Kenny Gainwell also didn't practice today, and Miles Sanders has a broken hand. This could be the entire Boston Scott show this weekend in Philly for an offense that just absolutely wants to just go 6 to midnight anytime you talk about running the football. Right? And so I'm going to go. And it sounds like Elijah Mitchell could return this weekend, possibly. But we've been also hearing that same thing for the last 3 weeks in a row that Elijah Mitchell's getting close to returning.
He did get in a limited practice today.
Yeah. So that is a positive. We're heading in the positive direction here for that. And so that would obviously just kind of, and Kareem Hunt did not practice today. He was actually, I think he was activated for COVID, but that doesn't really matter. Because he's dealing with an ankle injury. And so I honestly don't think he plays.
It's going to be Boston Scott for me, just for the reasons you just mentioned. Ramondre Stevenson, we've seen Damon Harris just get more and more involved, and he's been getting just most of the touches. And Ramondre Stevenson really hasn't seen as many touches lately. So, he didn't play last week. It's just going to be Boston Scott for me. I don't think it's very close.
Scott.
Yeah. All right. So in two wide receivers, who are they? For me, it's going to be DK and MVS.
I'm gonna go DK and Alan Lazard. I'm gonna go with the other Packers wide receiver.
DK and MVS. Because I think whenever you get down to that sort of range, just give me the guy who has the higher ceiling. I think Lazard is probably safer, but just give me the guy who can go for 80 and a score on 2 catches. You know what I mean? I think he probably has the higher ceiling, especially in that matchup.
All right. Bears or Colts D?
Bears. I mean, they play the Giants. I don't know who's going to be Jake Fromm, Mike Lennon, whatever. They're not.
Yeah, I would probably go Bears too.
Yeah. The Colts play the Raiders. The Raiders have been they've been an okay offense. They haven't been terrible, but I mean, they're certainly going to put more points on the board than the Giants.
Yeah. Cody?
I mean, it's already 2-0, so they're close enough for me. I don't have a great pitch for Indy.
Okay. Gator fan 15. Do you think Elijah Mitchell or Connor play this week? Like we already talked, we just mentioned Elijah Mitchell. He did get a limited practice Wednesday. If he continues this trade, I think there's a real possibility he could play this weekend. James Conner, on the other hand, did not practice today, but again, we don't really put a lot of stock into Wednesday practice. It doesn't really matter that much. They're usually pretty light practice. You see a lot of veterans get those Wednesdays practices off. I don't really care about that. I care about Thursday and Friday, and especially Friday practice in terms of availability. James Conner sounds more like he's 50-50 than he is anything. But Elijah Mitchell sounds like he's trending towards playing this week. So
yeah,
which should be a pretty nice boost because they are playing Houston this week. So
yeah, I mean, apparently, Cliff Kingsbury said that James Conner is going to be a game time decision against the Cowboys this week.
Which I would lean towards. He's probably going to be out.
Yeah, so it's not a lot of optimism for James Conner.
Yeah,
so.
Which means wheels up for Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
Wesley going for the ship, baby. Let's go, Wesley. Flex.
Let's get it.
Full PPR. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marquise Brown, and Y. You guys rock. TFA, baby. TFA for life.
Let's go.
Arms up emoji. I don't know what that other one was.
So Wolfpack.
So it sounds like Lamar is going to be back this week. He got a limited practice in today.
But they said he had a noticeable limp.
Yeah, that's what I also heard. So
I don't know why you wouldn't just play Huntley at this point. I mean, Huntley should be back this week. I know he was on COVID last week. I would assume he should be good to go for this week. They should get him back.
If it is Tyler Huntley, then I'm out on Hollywood Brown. It's going to be a Amon-Ra that's not close. But I think if it's Lamar, then we can have a discussion. But if it's not Lamar, it's definitely Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, every quarterback, I mean, Huntley and Josh Johnson, you know, when these two quarterbacks have been playing, Hollywood Brown has been terrible. I mean, he's seen a lot of targets, but the yards have not been there. He hasn't been used as a deep threat. I don't know, just cannot seem to connect on these deep shots. And I think Marquise Brown could possibly go for like 9 catches, but 45 yards, 50 yards. And it's just going to be the Mark Andrews show all over again. So probably going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown here.
Either way, for me, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even if there's a fire.
I can't move away from them 12 targets he's seeing a game. Ryan, Cowboys, Eagles, or Bears, D?
Bears again for me.
This is going to be Eagles for me.
Eagles.
High upside, low risk. Are we trusting Kamara this week? I'm leaning starting Michelle or Davey Harris over him. I would not do that.
I mean, can you trust Alvin Kamara?
Well, I mean, so Ian Book's not going to be the starting damn quarterback, so that's positive. because Ian Book should not be a quarterback for any team, to be honest with you. But he is awful. But Taysom's cleared concussion protocol, so he's back this week.
Yeah. I mean, even if Ian Book is a starter, I mean, whoever is the starter for the Saints, I cannot sit Alvin Kamara.
No.
No.
We have to. Even with Taysom and everything here, right? I mean, he still has. Well, I guess some of that was probably Trevor, but regardless of that, outside of, I know the last 2 weeks haven't been pretty, but last week it is what it is. I mean, it was against Miami, and that was just I don't know what that was, but Ian Book was terrible. And then the week before that was against Tampa Bay, right? So Tampa Bay really, really good run defense. But prior to that, we're still talking about a guy who's put up 24.5, 20.4, 16.6, 33.9, 29.2. Now some of those are back whenever Jameis was there, but I can't sit Alvin Kamara. Because just to lay out the other two, Sony Michel, right? Sony Michel, I like Sony Michel a lot this week. He is going to be the guy in this backfield for sure. I know Cam Akers is going to be back or should be back for this game, which for me personally, I'm just excited to watch Cam Akers in that game, see what he does. I just want to see how he looks. But as from a fantasy perspective, I highly doubt Cam Akers sees more than 8 to 10 touches in that game. I think Sony Michel leads this entire backfield. Yeah. Right now, the Ravens have been really good against the run. 13th fewest fantasy points per game. I think it's like I have to pull it up, the numbers. But regardless of that, it's not a great matchup. If he's not going to be involved in the passing game, then that limits his ceiling a little bit. But because how good this passing offense is, I do think there's a real chance that he's going to see some goal line opportunities and find the end zone that way, right? But regardless of that, and then you have Damian Harris, who's in a great matchup against Jacksonville. But with Ramondre Stevenson coming back, I do think that limits his ceiling because they are going to cannibalize each other a little bit. And so there's no way I can sit Kamara for one of these two.
I agree.
Do you agree?
I do agree. I was nodding in agreement.
He was.
Over on the Facebook, Mike, Ronald Jones or Damian Harris?
Ronald Jones.
Rojo.
Yeah. I'm there.
Especially with Stevenson coming back.
I sound like Robbie right now, but I'm riding the Rojo train. Until he fumbles on the first drive and gets benched for the rest of the game.
I know. It was amazing actually to see Keyshawn Vaughn house call that touchdown. Because whenever he was coming out and everything, we were a big, or at least I was a big Keyshawn Vaughn fan, and to see
that's right because Robbie loved Vaughn too.
Yeah, and Rojo, but he is the lone Rojo stan because that is certainly not me. Anyways, would you feel comfortable starting either Gabe Davis or Pitts this week?
Yeah, Pitts.
Yeah, Gabe Davis. Not really. They're gonna get all their guys back. Diggs is gonna be playing. Diggs, Mandy Sanders, Cole Beasley. They're probably all gonna be playing this week. And when all 4 wide receivers have been playing, Gabe Davis has not been involved. In the games, Gabe Davis has been fantasy relevant. They were always missing one of these guys, whether it's Mandy Sanders or Cole Beasley. But with all these guys back, I just cannot start Gabe Davis.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But Kyle Pitts certainly is in play.
I know he's been disappointing this year, just with some of the hype surrounding him and some of the expectation. But he is quietly 51 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. He hasn't blown up. He only has the
touchdowns.
One.
It's been the touchdowns.
He has 2 touchdowns and no. Sorry, just one.
Yeah. It's the touchdowns. Yeah. He has 64 catches, 949 yards, but only 1 touchdown. That's really what's killed him. Is that he just hasn't found the end zone. Or else we're talking.
Past 3 weeks, 5 for 61, 4 for 77, and 6 for 102 last week. In a game, going to be behind against Buffalo.
Yeah. MJ 23 Brady
The
versus
GOAT.
Jets or Allen versus the Falcons?
Ooh. Josh Allen at quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going Josh Allen.
That one's super close.
Yeah, it is close. But I think if Mike Evans doesn't play, we know Chris Godwin is not going to play. They crushed the Panthers last week. And Tom Brady, he didn't have really a big game fantasy-wise. So I think 21 to 22 fantasy points. So I'm just going to go with the higher ceiling, and I think that's Josh Allen.
All right. Diggs versus Atlanta or Adams versus Minnesota. What the heck? How do you have to make a decision between Diggs and Adams?
Well, look at the next one.
It's Devontae Adams normally. Devontae Adams.
Yeah, if we can only pick one, MJ, why can't we play?
Yeah. Okay. Why can't
multiple of these guys? But if I had to pick one, it's Adams.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then Kittle versus Andrews.
Okay, if Lamar plays, this is gonna sound weird, but if Lamar plays, I'm gonna go Kittle, and if Lamar does not play, I'm gonna go Mark Andrews.
I think I'm gonna go Kittle here regardless, but it's really hard to sit Andrews with the heater, just the absolute heater that he's been on, just playing absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know if Lamar is gonna play, but if Tyler Huntley plays, it's gonna be the Mark Andrews show. He only throws to Mark Andrews. That's the only guy he throws to. Mark Andrews could be like triple covered, double covered, whatever. Just gonna sneak that ball in there.
He's catching it, so I would go Mark Andrews here.
Regardless who plays quarterback?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then Monty versus the Giants or Javonte Williams. It's Monty.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about kickers. Join the club, Ashton.
Us either.
Where's Robbie when we need him?
Zerline or Bass?
Where's Robbie when we need Robbie, man?
Well, let's check out the old
let's see
implied
here. I would go
point totals
with.
I'm gonna go Tyler Bass.
So right now, 29.5 implied point total for Buffalo. Is there a line with Dallas?
Yeah.
I don't even know who these. And 28.5 for Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zerline.
Yeah, give me Greg in the dome.
Greg the leg.
There you have it.
My team is Kirk Cousins, Burkhead, Elliott, Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Schultz, Flex, Cooks, and Gould. Packers bench is Boston Scott, Gage, Edmonds, Mike Davis, Garoppolo, and Agumbawale. Do I need to change anything? Yes.
Yes.
I'm not starting Rex Burkhead when you have these other options.
No.
I would go if James Conner is out, I'm going Chase Edmonds.
Yep.
Yeah.
If James Conner plays, go Boston Scott over Rex Burkhead.
We're keeping Zeke in there. Yeah, Kupp, Deontay.
And then Brandon Cooks. Are you playing anybody else, any of these other guys over Brandon Cooks?
Absolutely not. Not a chance.
At least you stick to half your brand.
No, I'm not. But I could get the argument.
I probably would play. It would be close because if Boston Scott is going to end up being like the lead back here, and Chase Edmonds. It's where we've seen Brandon Cooks not, struggle.
Ever since Davis Mills took over for
he was good, right?
Tara Taylor, he's been
Which is hilarious to me, though, who would have thought that Davis Mills at this would be looking better than Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence and a lot of these rookie quarterbacks that we all hyped up over the offseason.
Yeah, and it's not like his team is any better either.
No. So, anyways, I actually think it would be really interesting if Jordan Howard misses and James Conner misses. I would seriously consider playing Boston Scott over Brandon
I get
Cooks.
that. I don't mind that. I think Boston Scott, if as you said earlier, if Jordan Howard, Kenny Gainwell, and Miles Sanders, if they're all out, I mean, we're gonna see Boston Scott get 20+ touches in this one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said as well.
All right, Z. How do you just get the name Z? Good for you. Half PPR, sit one. Chase Edmonds, Jeff Wilson, Darrell Williams, or Brandon Cooks.
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson.
Hey.
Aquaman.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Aquavision.
Good show, fellas. You didn't get this far to bench Waddle. Don't be foolish.
I think I did.
Good point.
That standard question earlier.
I mean, I don't know if there's any bias in your question, Aqua. With your comment with your Avi that you got rocking there. But yeah, Jalen Waddle's been an absolute stud this year.
Yeah,
just a stud.
Just killed my Saints, man.
Mark P, good content, guys. I like to think it's great, but I appreciate I'll take the good too. Ronald RC
Cola
rocking with us. What up, people? Party people.
Let's get the party rolling.
Tag team back again.
my tight end position has been lacking since TJ went down. Foster Moreau, Komet, Fant, or Gerald Everett. I think I'm gonna go with Foster Moreau.
Is Darren Waller playing? I don't know. Oh, he got put on the COVID list today.
Yeah, he was put on the COVID list.
Okay. So he's out. Yeah, I mean, we're one.
Well, it depends because I think this is why it's so confusing. If you're non-vaccinated, you can test out before the 5 days if you're not showing any symptoms.
Really?
I believe that's what. Yes.
Okay. But even if I don't know.
If you're unvaccinated, it's mandatory 5 days.
Okay.
I know it's super fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I still think it's Foster Moreau.
I'm gonna go Komet.
I'm gonna go Noah Fant.
Oh, I can't. Oh,
You can't do that.
I can't play a Bronco outside of not named Javonte Williams. You know who else is unstartable this week? Terry McLaurin. Absolutely unstartable.
Yeah.
You would have to be extremely, extremely desperate to play. And it's crazy to me that every week people have Terry McLaurin in their top 30, just automatically just put him there every week, regardless that he hasn't done dick since in forever. But he just automatically gets put there every single week. That offense is atrocious, and it sucks because Terry McLaurin is fantastic, absolute beast of a wide receiver. But he hasn't scored more. He hasn't had double-digit fantasy points since week 11. 9.1, 5.2, a whopping 0, 7.1, and 7. So.
He's not finding the end zone.
Not even that. He's just not even doing a whole lot. I mean, he hasn't had he's only had 50 yards receiving twice in that same span. Yeah. Tyler again. Jared, Allen, and Lamb would be my two other wide receivers.
Is that Keenan Allen? Is it Jared Allen?
Oh yeah, it's probably Keenan.
Yeah. That autocorrect.
Yeah.
NASCAR Fantasy Live. Hey, NASCAR Fantasy Live. We're getting close to Daytona. I'm getting excited. Absolutely love Daytona.
Read the question, please.
Okay.
Read the question, please.
Let's talk some NASCAR DFS, baby.
Should I bench Tyreek for Waddle?
No.
And for the flex, Tyreek, if you benched him, Sony, Zeke, Penny, or Singletary.
I'm going Waddle.
Yeah. Yeah, Waddle.
Yeah.
So Tyreek and Waddle.
Yeah. Yep. Fam first. Rate my starting lineup. Dak, Mixon, Cook, AB, Diggs, Rojo, Ertz, Bears, D, Greg Joseph. Should I sub in Brandon Cooks or McLaurin?
Yes.
4.
No, never mind.
I was gonna say
I
who?
was gonna say play Brady Cooks for Zach Ertz, but no,
I think that's the way it works.
Cannot do that.
That'd be great. Heck, sub in Brandon Cooks for Greg Joseph or the Bears D for that matter. Also, leave the Bears D or sub in Rams D.
Keep the Bears defense against the Giants. Yeah.
Rock out. Ayuk, Gage, Penny, Freeman. Full PPR. Pick one.
Rashad Penny.
Let's go. Yep. League winner. That is league winner, Rashad Penny.
Against the Lions.
Yep. Same for me. Cody?
Yeah, I guess.
William E. Do you know what days they could do the COVID test? What is the last day when we know players? So they don't have to test anymore. You don't have to test out. You're not taking a test out. As long as you don't have a fever and you're cleared by a doctor, you don't have any tests. Basically you have to self-report. So.
And when is the last day we know about player status? Game day. I mean, we saw it last week with Travis Kelce. We think we got the news Sunday morning that he wasn't playing on Sunday. So,
you know what's going to happen? Players aren't going to say shit, especially once we get in the actual NFL playoffs. You think if Patrick Mahomes not feeling well that he's going to say that he's sick?
Hey,
except for fucking Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, that's different.
That showed.
I'll tell you, we could talk about this more on Saturday when we do the. By the way, we're doing. If we haven't said, everybody, we're doing the fantasy free for all on Saturday night. It's going to be absolutely electric.
Let's go.
Essentially, if people have never been here for that, which we've only done it a couple other times, so you probably haven't been. Essentially, we're going to drop the show link into the chat, and you can come on the show like Walito is, and just rock it with us. We're going to talk. We can talk fantasy football. We can talk about just regular NFL playoffs, NFL draft, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Life, movies, whatever. We're just gonna have some fun, talk about some stuff, and get ourselves ready for the fantasy championship. But there is so much to talk about this offseason because there are so many moving parts and so many storylines, so many different teams that are going to need quarterbacks and what quarterbacks are on the move, free agency. Anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun.
This is a wild free agency class as well.
For sure. Players. There's a ton of wide receivers.
Especially a wide receiver. I mean, we're talking about Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, all these guys. Devontae Adams.
Gary, respect to DT.
Yeah.
Also, respect to John Madden.
Yes.
Hate to see that. I mean, he's 85 years old, but that man was an absolute legend. Legend. I grew up playing Madden. I mean, I can't remember the exact first, but it had to be like Madden, like 91, 92 was probably the first one I played, I think. And then I pretty much played ever since. Never missed. Outside of the last couple of years because they've absolutely ruined Madden.
Yes.
And you absolutely know that EA is going to shill, and next year's Madden is just going to have John Madden on the cover. It's going to be like Madden Edition, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's what it's going to be.
100%.
Yes. So, need 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. T. Higgy, Keenan Allen, Sony Michel, Deontay Johnson. So, Deontay and Keenan, and then flex T. Higgins.
I'm locking in T. Higgins and Deontay Johnson. Then I think it's close between Keenan Allen and Sony Michel. The Broncos have been a great defense. They've been good against the pass. Sounds like, Chargers are – I think they're going to have Mike Williams back this week. Should have Mike Williams back this week. So, Sony Michel, I mean –
they played him once before. He went 7 receptions for 85 yards on 10 targets, 15.5. Not great, not terrible.
I think I'm gonna. No. I think I'm gonna go Keenan Allen in the flex. Yeah, it's close though. I think Sony Michel is totally gonna play.
Cody?
Man. That's where I'm sitting as well between Keenan and Sony.
The Ravens have been good against the run, but Sony could get like all these goal line carries and run in for
He's been
these
involved
2
in
yards
the passing game as well.
Yeah, and it sounds like so Cam Akers is going to play this week.
Absolutely love to see it. I'm so excited for Cam Akers.
But we talked about this in the Discord. I think Cody said that he would be surprised if Cam Akers gets double-digit touches.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
I can't see more than like a dozen snaps either.
I don't know about that. I think he probably plays a little bit more than that. If you're going to let him play a snap, you might as well just let him play whatever. But there's no way he's going to play like a full work.
I think he could be used as a third down back, maybe. But
I mean, I think that I would do this kind of like a preseason game for him. Maybe he plays, 20 snaps, something like that. Whatever, something like that. 15, 20 snaps, which is fine. But like I said, I think he probably just sees probably 8 to 10 touches. I think you're probably somewhere right around there. Maybe 6 to 8. I don't know. But I still think Sonny Michel sees the majority.
Yeah, of course.
It's really hard to sit Sony's workload too.
Yeah,
it's in a half close. PPR.
I actually think Sonny Michel has a higher ceiling than probably what Keenan Allen does here.
I'm going to say Keenan. Yeah. I'm going to play Sony.
There you go. Love to see it. All right.
24 carries, 121 yards and a touchdown, 20 for 79, 18 for 92, and then 27 for $131 and a score. It's really hard to have that chilling. I know Baltimore is a tough run D, but that's really tough to pass up on 20 carries at least.
Yeah. All right. John, Rojo or Zeke?
Oh, man. Rojo.
Yes. I'm going Ronald Jones too. As crazy as it is.
Probably going to go Rojo as well.
Five-time Cowboys champion G. Garcia. Appreciate that content. Appreciate you rocking with us. If you're new here, just consider hitting that like, subscribe button. We really appreciate it. We got 34 people in here. We could have 34 thumbs up. I don't know. I appreciate everybody rocking with us. Per usual, let's win some championships this week. Anyways, RB2, Ronald Jones, Penny, or Damian Harris.
Very close between Ronald Jones and Rashad Penny, but I'm going to lean Ronald Jones.
I am too, but it is extremely close. I like both these. I think I have Ronald Jones at 11, and I have Penny at 13.
I think they're very similar. Probably going to get around the same amount of touches, same amount of carries, probably. It's going to be very, very close, but I think Ronald Jones is probably more likely to score a touchdown in this one. Just going to take the guy on the better offense.
Rojo for me as well.
3 degrees in Green Bay Sunday. You see that affecting the game at all? No. Temperature doesn't really matter. It's more about the only thing I have
20 plus
is wind. If it's going to be like 35 mile an hour winds, okay, now we're talking. Now
sustained.
Yeah. So that's really, it's anything over 20 is really where you're really worried. But the temperature is not that big of a deal.
And this game is Packers-Vikings. These two teams are used to it.
Yeah. Z, Knox or Schultz? I'm going Schultz here.
Yeah. With Buffalo getting all their wide receivers back, I'm going to go Schultz.
Schultz been on a little heater. Scored 20-plus fantasy points the last 2 weeks in a row.
Yep. 8 catches for 81 yards last week.
Seen at least 8 targets in both of those.
I've leaned Knox, but it's close.
Kevin Scott.
Hey,
Another
his name's Kevin.
Love to see it. Elijah Mitchell, Sony Michel, or Chase Edmonds if Connor doesn't play. If Connor doesn't play, I'm going Chase Edmonds.
Who else do you have at running back? I'll be curious if we can get Sony and Chase Edmonds in.
Yeah, or do you have a flex option possibly that you could slide him into?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Chase Edmonds if Connor doesn't play, but it's very close.
If Connor does play, where are you going?
If Connor plays, then it's Sony Michel, and it's not close.
It would be Elijah Mitchell for me, just to match up against Houston. It's too good.
Man.
Coming back from injury, I don't know. I get it. It's Houston. They're probably going to run the ball 50 million times because that's all they do in San Francisco. But I mean,
this is a really interesting group.
Sony Michel for me if Connor does play. If Connor does not,
but with the question as it is if Connor's out,
Chase Edmonds.
Would it be Chase Edmonds?
Yep.
Yeah,
man, that's really close. Do you guys feel like it's chasing at all, considering he led their receivers in, I think, all three categories? Like, you feel like that's like slightly chasey?
Chase Edmonds?
Yeah.
No, because I view Chase Edmonds a lot very similar to Austin Eckler. I think he's a very similar player to Austin Eckler. I think given the opportunity like Austin Eckler, he could perform like Austin Eckler. He has been super efficient this year. And it's just he's never really gotten goal line work. This is a team that will definitely involve their running backs in the passing game. I don't think that changed. They don't have any. I mean, they really struggled without DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, this offense just hasn't looked the same without DeAndre Hopkins, even though they still have Christian Kirk and AJ Green. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that, I don't think anything changed here. I think he probably still sees a ton of targets.
Yeah, this Cowboys pass rush has been extremely good. They've been very good. So I think that could force a lot of dump offs to Chase Edmonds.
I think I would have it how you have it listed, Kevin.
Edmonds, Elijah, and Sony?
No, Elijah, Sony, and Edmonds.
Or
I think how I would have it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Rick North, Burrow or Brady? I'm going Brady.
Brady.
Joe Burrow.
You have been overruled. Lee Shakur. Would you start CeeDee Lamb, Rashad Penny, Singletary at flex?
Rashad Penny over CeeDee Lamb. It's close, but gonna go Rashad Penny.
Golly, man. There are very few easy answers tonight. I wish I would have stayed in bed. Thanks, Walito.
I think it would be I think I would stick with CeeDee Lamb. It's tough though, because he just hasn't shown much of a ceiling. I mean, this year he has 3 games that with over 20 fantasy points all year, right? So he has 23.4 in Week 1 against Tampa Bay, and then 36.1 against New England, and then 28.6 Week 10. But since since Week 10, it's 4.4, 19.2, 14.6, 11, and 10.4. He's just been kind of safe. A lot of it's because he's not finding the end zone. He hasn't scored a touchdown since Week 10. So that's limited the ceiling a little bit, but he's still getting there on volume. I mean, he's still seeing a lot of targets, 13, 10, 9, and 5. Last week, I kind of throw that out a little bit because they were just destroying the Washington football team. But I think on this one, I think I would still stick with CD. And it also has the highest implied point total on the slate.
Yeah, I'll stick with CD, but it's way closer than it should be.
The Black Mamba. That's what I'm talking about. Taysom or Burrow? And thoughts on AJB and Swift?
Joe Burrow,
Yeah,
quarterback.
I would go Burrow here.
And thoughts on AJB and Swift? I mean,
AJ Brown won me $3,800 last week, so that's my guy. That's my dog. Okay, like
now the ride or die.
Yes, he is my dude.
They're both.
Life. I loved him beforehand, but then he won me $3,800 on DraftKings. So he is my ride or die forever. But fantastic last week. Absolutely was that offense and carried that team on his back. No worries whatsoever with AJ Brown. Now, if DeAndre Swift, I think people, I think, be a little bit, if they want to, be what's the word I'm looking for? Have some hesitation, but I'm not that concerned with it.
I just scrolled down to the bottom to see how far behind we were, and happened to see this one from Alexis. So I wanted to throw this up in real time. Just to give a shout out to Alexis. Appreciate Alexis for rocking with us all season.
And we're not going nowhere, Alexis. NFL draft season starts here very, very, very soon, and I'm absolutely excited about it. Breaking down this year's draft class, and I think there's an edge to be had with that. Like I talk about it every year, that I think people that play just redraft, people that don't play Dynasty, there's a real edge of knowing who all these guys are coming into the year. Because if you knew who Amon-Ra St. Brown was, and guys like who Amon-Ra St. Brown really wasn't on a lot of people's radars. Cody was every chance he got over the offseason was shouting him out as a sleeper, but nobody else did you really hear that from. But having a basic understanding of who a lot of these these players are, running backs, wide receivers, gives you a big edge versus having to try to do research on the fly of who these guys are, in season. So I do think there's a lot to be gained from understanding who these guys are.
Kevy.
Let's go.
Back at it.
And just another friendly reminder to hit that subscribe and that like button if you're rocking with us for the first time. Brady over Burrow, we agree except for Walito. Over to Ashton. If Elijah Moore plays, should I play him over Christian Kirk?
Isn't he out?
No, he's not. They have not ruled him out. He has a 50-50 shot. But he's still on COVID. You have to clear that. Once he clears that, he's still it's not any guarantee to even make it back. I think Robert Saleh said today it is very much 50-50 at this point.
Anyways, I'm going to go Christian Kirk in this one.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you start Edmonds this week?
I think you definitely can. I have Chase Edmonds, I think, at RB20 this week. So I have him as an RB2 with the thought that James Conner plays. If he doesn't play, he moves up to he's definitely in the top 15, probably top 13, 14 for sure.
Yeah, just depends on what your other options are.
But if Connor's out, obviously, feel a lot better about that one. Allen or Stafford?
Josh Allen.
I'm going to go Stafford.
Yeah, I'm going to go Stafford as well. But it's very close. Very, very close.
Yeah. Karn, let's go. Made the finals in a league. Need 2 wide receivers: Ayuk, Mike Will, Boyd, Devonta Smith, or KJ Osborne. So let's start there, and then we'll get the defensive question.
Mike Williams and KJ Osborne for me.
Ooh.
Thielen is ruled out. He's been placed on IR. I have no idea why he came back. He clearly wasn't ready to be back. I get it. It's a gladiator sport, and you want to try to get back and help your team win. But Anyway, but yeah, without Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne makes for a really good play in a game that they're going to be trailing. They're going to have to throw the ball a ton. They're not going to be able to just lean on Dalvin Cook to throw the ball or run the ball the entire time. So I think he's a pretty safe option. I love Devontae Smith, but it scares me because, again, this is an offense that loves to just run the football. And unless you think the Giants can build a lead here and force them to, it's tough to really get on top of that. And Devontae Smith is a little bit risky, though he did see, 5 for 80 and a score last week and a matchup that they kind of had under control. And then Tyler Boyd, I don't mind. I think he is kind of an interesting option. But then Brandon Ayuk, again, worries me. And again, like Jimmy Garoppolo dealing with this hand injury, and I guess he's saying that he expects to play, which I don't know. Like Jimmy Garoppolo is terrible as it is, and like Jimmy Garoppolo now with a hurt finger and a hurt, and all this other stuff, he's not mobile. He's not somebody that's gonna be able to run, and so like I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know why they just don't give Trey Lance this game and try to get Jimmy Garoppolo right. But regardless, I don't think that if this game against Houston with Jimmy Garoppolo banged up, I don't think they throw the ball all that much. I think they are going to pound the rock. Now it is possible because we have seen Houston. They just knocked off the Chargers last week. So who knows? I mean, this Houston team has been wild all year. They have been kept a lot of these games close. And so they could force them to throw the ball, which would change things. But I think on the surface level, I don't think they throw the ball as much. And so that's why I would go Mike Williams and KJ Osborne.
I'm going to go Mike Will and Boyd.
I'm going to go Mike Will and Devontae Smith. So, I mean, we all agree on Mike Williams.
Boyd for me, just in that matchup, KC giving up a little bit more out of the slot than they are on the outside. I know Boyd has been up and down, a little more boom bust than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was at least going to be the safer option in this offense, but I really think that Burrow is going to struggle with that KC pass rush. And, coming off that game, I think they might be feeling themselves a little too much. Kev, like you said earlier, going against the JV team, their 4-string defense, they were just completely tattered with Baltimore last week. So I think we're going to have to see some more of those quicker dump offs to Boyd. And we have seen him, show some big playability as well. I think he's had a couple of games now where he has 30, 40, 50-yard TDs, and that, definitely saved his fantasy week last week. So that's where I lean with that one. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. For the flex for Rick,
Ooh.
AB, AJB, or ROJO.
Can we play more than one of these guys?
Yeah, that's one question I would have. I mean, geez. But yeah, it's Antonio Brown. Again, I have him as top 5. But Slick Rick, can we get AJ Brown in the flex? Can we get him in there, buddy?
That doesn't matter. I'm outruled again, but I'm gonna say AJ Brown.
Yeah, they're close. I just give the nod to AB, and that whenever they're that close, like give me a quarterback not named Ryan Tannehill.
Why do you hate Ryan Tannehill so much?
Because this is the year that I was finally on him, and he made me shit my pants. That's why. So this is the rest of the lineup for Karn: Kelsey, Zeke, Rojo, Mixon, Rodgers, and then the 2 wide receivers that we were talking about for him that we are all in limbo on.
Oh, was that okay? That was the Ayuk, Michael.
Yeah, that was the 2 wide receiver question.
Okay,
I like it.
Great lineup.
Here we go, Karn.
Karn, I need you to understand something. It really has nothing to do with NASCAR. It has everything to do with DFS, okay, and DraftKings. And there's not a better day to play NASCAR DFS than Daytona 500 because it is the most random thing ever. And you play literally everybody that starts in the back and it's just all chaos ensues. And so that's really all you do. You just stack the back and have fun. I mean, it's amazing.
That is a life motto to live by.
Stack the back.
Just stack the back and have fun. Josh Gator, quick thoughts on the trio of Connor, Lockett, and Claypool going into the next season. They've been on my list of my guys, and I know they can all be boom bust. Well, Claypool should be in a better quarterback situation.
Yep.
Lockett, who the hell knows? Connor just needs to stay healthy.
That's something else too. Like like it sounds like I don't know. I've watched quite a few games lately with Russ, and he just does not look like he wants to really be there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very much like he's going through the motions. I know they're out of it and everything else, but he just seems like a guy who's checked out and ready to get out of there. And so, Pete Carroll had some weird quote, about I don't know, maybe they want to rebuild, maybe they don't, but so I don't think Russ is going to be there next year. I mean, we already had those rumors last year, and now I don't think anything's going to change. And I think Russ could be gone, which changes everything with Tyler Lockett. And then James Conner's a free agent, so I don't even know where the hell he winds up. I think he would be wise to probably just return to Arizona, which I think that's probably what will happen, is they'll bring him back for another year. But he's not a young running back either. And somebody who's actually stayed pretty healthy this year, all things considered, because when he was in Pittsburgh, it felt like every other week he was out. And then Claypool is really just going to depend on, if they can get Aaron Rodgers, it will be absolutely team sex for the Pittsburgh. The Yinzers up there in old PA are just going to be just running wild, naked for a couple of weeks there with Aaron Rodgers. Old Aaron Rodgers comes to town, because that offense with Deontay and Claypool and Najee and Freiermuth with Aaron Rodgers will be fantastic. But in all reality, they'll probably get Mitch Trubisky or something. So
way more likely. Way more.
Because I don't know. It's starting to sound like Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. Just kind of reading the tea leaves of hearing him talk.
I mean, if the Packers, win the Super Bowl this year, or they get to the Super Bowl, then it's going to depend for Devontae Adams as well. If Rodgers stays in Green Bay, I think Devontae Adams also stays in Green Bay.
Okay, so this one, Tyler, I'm sitting one of these guys. I'm playing both A.J. Brown and Antonio Brown. I would play A.J. Brown and Antonio Brown over. I would sit Keenan Allen here, and I would play A.J. Brown and Antonio Brown.
I agree.
Yep, agreed there as well. I mean, this is a fair question from Ron. Is anyone crazy enough to actually play Mike Williams this week?
Depends who your other options are. I mean,
I don't mind playing.
I don't mind playing Mike Williams this week. I think
just because with how up and down he's been. I mean, especially from where he started off this season, just kind of the complete collapse basically since then. I mean, since week 5, he has. Let's see,
he started to stabilize a little bit.
Two games.
So week 11, he put up 20.7, 7.9, 16, 12.1, and 7.9. Yeah. Not great. Not what he was doing earlier in the year, but we had to have known that was never going to be that he was never going to be able to sustain that level of production. But then he saw a pretty drastic drop off. But we've started to see him come back to life, kind of being the guy he was earlier in the year with 8, 7, 6, and 9 targets. Where earlier in that in that stretch run, it was 5, 5, 6, 6, 6 targets every single week. Where we started to see that come up a little bit more. So, I don't. It's not the best matchup either against Denver. Denver's obviously defense is really good, and he is coming off COVID, which has been some of the players that have come off COVID, haven't played as much as they normally would, stuff like that. But it would really just depend on who you had versus, if I would play him or not.
Yeah. Well, he wants to know if we're going to have a draft guide next season. I learned a lot from your channel already. Appreciate that, William. We try to impart some education as we're giving out our picks as well, and not simply just tell you, who to start and sit. I would love to say yes, definitely, but we've also been saying we're going to put out a draft guide for the past 2 seasons. So
it's just tough. It's tough because we don't have
very
a
timely.
big. There's not a big production behind all of us. That's where we are a small team of folks here, and so we battle between because putting on a draft guide that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work behind the scenes, and it takes a lot of effort and all that stuff. Not that we don't want to or it's not worth it, but then it's okay. Then do we stop doing everything else that we do, put out all the other content that YouTube and everything else versus trying to focus on that. So I could say that it's definitely in the plans to have a draft guide next season.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that we were kind of talked about it last season, and then we decided this past off season that we were going to kind of make it a priority to actually do it this year.
Yeah. Abdul, Rashad Penny, Darrell Williams, or Marquise Brown at the flex?
Rashad Penny.
If this is full PPR, I'm going to go Darrell Williams. If it's half or standard, I'm going Rashad Penny.
I'm going to go Penny. My God, I can't believe I just said that.
Finally, we've embraced it. We've embraced it.
I wouldn't.
I've been saying it for weeks that this man is a league winner.
I wouldn't say embracing it. I just think he's the best out of that group.
Now he's going to fail, though. I just not thought about that. Fuck. Cody has been off the Rashad Penny this entire time. The 1 week he jumps on him, Rashad Penny. We're gonna be sitting there watching Red Zone, and all of a sudden, just in, Rashad Penny has exited the game with a hamstring injury on the 3rd snap of the game, and I'm gonna scream, just Cody.
It will absolutely be my fault if anyone's Cowboys or Niners.
I'm gonna go Cowboys.
Ooh.
It
has not been very lucrative targeting the Houston Texans offense this year, with the opposing defense. We were talking about that earlier, or not earlier, but I think earlier in the week, or maybe been offline. But even Houston, a lot of people are we got to attack Houston this week. Hasn't really worked out. The Lions, got to play the defense going against the Lions this week. Has it worked out? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm rocking with the Cowboys there as well. The Niners defense is still banged up. They're still going to be without Azeez Al-Shaair as well. I think Drake Greenlaw was back on the DMP list as well. So, Cowboys have a really good pass rush. Obviously, with Lawrence being back, that's a huge boost. Randy Gregory, I think obviously it was a little bit different in that last game they played, but I remember seeing the snap count they put up for the defensive line, and there were just 12 different defensive linemen they had in at one point, no one over 30 snaps. So they're deep at that position as well. So I don't love it, but between those two, I roll with the Cowboys. Moving on to C. Crip, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a full PPR. Start with the running backs. We have D. Will, C. Pat.
Antonio Gibson.
Oh, yeah. It's did we answer the question ourselves?
So Darrell Williams, and I'm going to go with Cordell Patterson. It's really hard to trust Antonio Gibson, mainly because he's going to have to get there through the air, because they are playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been excellent against the run over the last almost 2 months.
Yeah, I'm going to go Darrell Williams and Cordell Patterson.
2 wide receivers, Pittman, St. Brown, Osborne, MVS.
If Carson Wentz is back, I'm going to go Pittman and Amon-Ra. If he's not, it's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown in MVS.
So Carson Wentz has a shot to play this week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He could come back Saturday, but he's unvaccinated, so he has to be out until Saturday.
Okay. So if
I'm with you,
if Carson Wentz plays, then I'm gonna go Pittman and St. Brown.
It's still really close for Pittman and MVS because Pittman, like, he's still not going to get a great matchup. He's going to see Casey Hayward. Casey Hayward has been really good this year. The Raiders have actually been really good against opposing wide receivers this year. They have struggled against the run, and we know that Jonathan Taylor is going to see a ton.
Yeah, but I think I would go KJ Osborne over MVS regardless.
And I don't hate that either. I think it's really close between Osborne and MVS for me.
So I think it's going to be St. Brown and Pittman if Wentz plays. If Wentz does not play, it's going to be St. Brown and KJ Osborne.
I just lean MVS with how well the Packers secondary has been playing. John, good luck to you as well. Another one here from Crip. Tight end to stream this week. Hunter Henry, Everett, or Patty Fry? Did Patty Fry practice today?
So
I'm just curious with Patty Fry because that was his second concussion. Come on, Steelers. Nothing out today.
no.
I don't understand how some of these NFL teams don't update their shit.
The Patriots play the Dolphins this week. I think I'm gonna go with Gerald Everett. He's been getting targets in the last couple of weeks with the Seahawks. 5 targets last week, 4 the week before. Yeah, 4 targets a week before that. Then in week 14, he had 2 targets, but week 12, 9 targets. Week 13, 6 targets. So Gerald Everett has been more involved as a pass catcher. He's been finding the end zone. That's 3 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He gets the Lions this week. I think he could go 4 for 60 and a touchdown. He went 4 for 68 and a touchdown last week. It's tough to trust Hunter Henry. I mean, he only had 1 catch for 9 yards last week. I don't know. I just can't play Hunter Henry. And then Patty Fry, we just don't know with the injury.
Well, according to Patty Fry, he is back.
He is back. So
according to Patty Fry, yes.
Oh, according to Patty Fry himself.
Yeah. His he posted on the old IG and said, "See Yins Monday night." What a guy throwing the Yins in there. Penn State great Patty. Give me fucking Patty Fry. That's still the deal for me. The Yins.
All right.
Give me Patty Fry because I think the other two are hard to trust as well. I know Everett's been involved, but he's been up and down as well. He has a couple of duds in there the past couple of weeks, and Hunter Henry's hard too.
I think Patty Fry is also hard to trust, but it's okay. That's okay. Get past to the next question.
I was thinking that in that matchup against Cleveland, they've been a little susceptible to tight ends.
Yeah,
and we know that Ben can't hit Claypool downfield, so that he's not even really in the conversation. Unfortunately, Paul Miller lost J-Rob to injury, so we're looking at Keyshawn, Derek Gord, or Howard. I mean, if Howard plays, he's the clear-cut answer.
Yes, I agree.
But let's say that Howard does not play.
If Jordan Howard does not play,
are we going sneak Vaughn here? If Jordan Howard doesn't play,
I mean, if the Bucks get up by 15 or 20, I think we could see Keyshawn Vaughn get carries just like he did last week. Or maybe he pops another 60-yard touchdown again. If Jordan Howard does not play, I'm going to go Keyshawn Vaughn just because of the matchup against the Jets.
Kev, you rocked it solo on the ranking show this week. Are there any deeper names at running back that you might feel a little bit better than? Let's assume that Howard's out, because if Howard plays, he is the guy. And we're also talking about a 14-team league here for Paul as well. Full PPR. Were there any names deeper down the list that you thought might be sneaky, or would you just rock with one of these guys? I would just lean Vaughn just for the thought process of, let's say they do get up big on the Jets, and they don't want to just run Rojo into the ground. We kind of see a situation like we did last week where Rojo still gets his 20-ish carries, and Vaughn also trickles in some of the touches as well. Or are there any names further on down the list, or are you going to go with one of these other two?
I mean,
Ogunbowale, if he's out there.
I can't. I imagine he probably got snapped up immediately.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
He's probably not sitting out there. I would assume after waivers and everything have run. I mean, not really. I mean, guys like Khalil Herbert, maybe if he was sitting out there, he got a little bit more work last week, but that's tough to trust. Honestly, I think because I don't know what the Bucks are going to do with Le'Veon Bell, because he was active last week. They just didn't do anything with him. Or no, he did play. I didn't even think he played, but he did play. He got 2 carries for -1 yards. Surprise. So he got a little bit of work. I honestly think I would go Derek Gore here because the Chiefs aren't with Darrell Williams. They probably aren't going. He's not going to play, 90% of the snaps. Right? Like all year that hasn't happened. Even when CEH was out, he was still playing, roughly, 50, 60% of the snaps, right? And Jerick McKinnon is out, so they don't have Jerick McKinnon to utilize. And so he's not there. He's not going to be an option. And so it's really going to be him and Derek Gore. And so Derek Gore is probably going to play 35, 40% of the snaps. And I don't know if you can say that about Keyshawn Vaughn, right? And so I would probably go Derek Gore. Just because Darrell Williams is not, I mean, Darrell at no point the highest snap share that Williams has seen this year was 70%, and that was week 6. Other than that, it's been in the 50s and 60s all year. Even whenever CEH was out, that was still the case. So, and Derek Gore has actually looked really good in limited opportunities that he's got. He had that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Cody watched the game, but that pass that he had was all, him and Patrick Mahomes being on the same page, and it was a busted play. He, took off down the sideline, and, Patrick Mahomes hit him on a deep pass. And so he was really impressive in preseason as well. And I know Andy Reid loves him. And so he really feels like the next Darrell Williams. I just read a comment that said Darrell Waller was out. So, anyways, Darrell Williams, he feels like that guy. He's probably going to be the guy that's who they utilize. So, I think I would go Derek Gore.
So we need I guess we just need to set this lineup here. Rojo, Swift, Penny, assuming Javonte, Monty, Wilson at running back.
So
let's assume 2 running backs. So which 2 are we going to roll with here? I'm going to go Monty and Rojo.
I'm going to go Monty and Swift.
It's a standard league.
Oh, standard league. Okay, yeah. Then I would go Rojo and Monty.
Rojo and Montgomery.
And then wide receiver, Kupp, A.J. Brown, and Antonio Brown.
Kupp and A.J. Brown and A.B. in the flex. So we're just starting all three.
Yeah, so Kupp
Would
and
you? Well, he has Kelsey and Kittle. So would you consider flexing, Kittle over? I guess no, I wouldn't. I would still go AJ Brown.
Yeah, I think I would start these three wide receivers over Kittle.
Yes,
because I don't know how much San Francisco is going to have to throw the football against Houston, and they've been good on offense, but I don't know.
Start three here for I'm Not Sorry. DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Odell, Diggs, or Ayuk. Full PPR, we need 3.
with the Brothers of Destruction, Avi. It's good. Not so. It's going to be Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, and Beckham.
Yes.
Kev, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, it seems like there's on my screen there's a comment behind Matt's that I can't click on from RT, so I don't want to skip RT, and we're at the 11:59 mark with Matt's. Yeah, for some reason I can't even click on it. It's literally blocked. So Brady or Trey Lance. My opponent is starting Debo, Kittle, and Jeff Wilson. That is Tom Brady and not thinking twice about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, last I heard, I mean, it sounds like they're going to be going with. They're going to try. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo may play, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you skipped more questions than that, though.
Really? So for me, it goes from Alexis to Matt to high upside.
Yeah, because we have this one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My running backs are Taylor Chubb, Michael Rojo, Mitchell, and Damian Harris. I dropped my own handcuffs for matchups and upside on the waiver wire when I saw injuries for Standard League. Should I use Rojo? I'm not playing Rojo over Taylor or Chubb.
No. And then he also has Elijah Mitchell going up against Houston. Damian Harris against Miami. Michelle.
I mean, assuming that you're starting 3, it's definitely going to be Taylor and Chubb. Who would be third here for you? Would it be Rojo over Michelle, or would it be Michelle?
It'd be Rojo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Victor. Hey, I had asked last week for Dak or Burrow. I started Burrow, but felt Dak was due for a big game, which was true. Either one would have been amazing. Thanks again. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Hunter Renfrow, PPR. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Let's go.
And you had the nice combination between both of those quarterbacks because they both worked out.
Yeah, I was thinking about this question whenever Burrow was just going nuclear. So I think we were split on that one.
That's Brady.
Yep.
Okay, same question. Okay, so now if you ever think past that, did someone say DFS? Yes, Matty D. Someone did say DFS.
Matty Buckets.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Matty 2v2.
To break down that amazing Week 17 slate. On DraftKings, it is absolutely wild because there's so much. There's a 15-game slate, and so that's just kind of something that we don't typically get very often. And so that's going to be great.
That Bengals Chiefs game, the DFS, is going to be wild.
Yeah. So DST question: 49ers, Bears, Dolphins, or Eagles? Tons of waiver wire decisions. I would go Eagles here.
Bears.
Eagles.
Trey, evening to you, Trey. A couple of questions: Burrow or Russell? Burrow.
I can't believe I'm saying this when the Seahawks are playing the fucking Lions.
Yeah. Full
Burrow.
PPR. Choose 2: Pittman, Elijah Mitchell, Chase Edmonds, Aaron Jones. Thanks.
Aaron Jones and Chase Edmonds if Connor doesn't play. If Connor plays, Aaron Jones and Elijah Mitchell.
Agreed. I'm the same.
Yeah.
That's already a response to what we were talking about. Bryce, Deontay Johnson or Elijah Mitchell, full PPR. If Mitchell is healthy, going for a three-peat champ.
Ooh,
Other starters are Tay,
go.
Adams,
let's go.
Debo, Monty, Rojo.
Solid lineup.
I'm going Deontay here.
Yeah,
I just
Deontay for
hate.
me as well.
I just hate the Steelers' offense, man.
I mean, I don't love the Browns' offense either, for being honest, but
It's gonna be Deontay Johnson. Just sees too many targets.
high upside, low risk again. Need a flex, non PPR. Michelle, Damian Harris, Stevenson playing and has Q tag. Chase Edmonds, Connor doesn't play and has Q tag.
Chase
Non
Edmonds.
PPR, I'm going Damian Harris.
Oh, it's non-PPR. Non-PPR, I'm gonna go Sony Michelle.
Yeah.
Overruled by me or by you. I also have Kittle on my bench for Mark Andrews, and I'm waiting to see who the quarterback is for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Not a bad problem to have.
Steven, what's up, guys? You think Scott is an instant play if Howard is out? Gainwell was limited in practice today, too. Yes. I mean, it depends on over who.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm not just going to, tell you to start him over everybody. But, yeah, I think he's definitely somebody that you can look to play. Also, Murray or Stafford made the wrong choice last week.
Stafford. Overruled. Probably Paul made to the
For the record, I would have went with Kyler Murray. But
for the record, you're overruled. Probably Paul made it to the big dance. Komet or this messed me up.
Burrow.
Yeah, mixing the two there. I was like,
Burrow.
So
Burrow.
Komet or Foster Moreau.
I'm gonna go with Foster.
Yep.
I just think that Komet. I don't know. I think they really just run the rock, and so I think it limits Komet. And Jimmy Graham still being a thing there in that offense and getting targets in the red zone and taking away. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I like Komet, but they're both close there. And then Cousins or Huntley. Let's assume that Lamar is out.
If Huntley plays, I'm going Huntley.
I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins against Green Bay in this shootout potential. I think the total is sitting at 47.5 for this game. For the Ravens game, it's sitting at 46.5. So, yeah, this doesn't matter. But I think I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I like Cousins there as well.
I mean, against the Rams. Yeah.
Mumbo, number 7. Would you start Lamar over Burrow if he plays?
I would not. I would start Burrow.
I think I'm leaning Burrow unless we get better news coming out about Lamar. Apparently he looked pretty hobbled in practice today.
I mean,
that's what worries me. If he was like full go Lamar, I would go Lamar.
Yeah.
Because I mean the rushing upside is going to make him a really safe play anyway, and then the ceiling is very high. But if it sounds like he looks the way that he looks now, I think you just go Joe Burrow because it could go sideways really quickly. Because asking Lamar Jackson to be a pure pocket passer is tough.
Schultz or Moreau?
Schultz.
Schultz here for me as well, Kev.
Agreed.
Scott. Herbie or Staff?
Stafford
for me as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bobby.
Your mom. Hey, my mom is a great woman. I mean, I agree. I mean, we could fill in however we want to there. Your mom.
You keep those liver spotted hands off my mother. She is a saint.
Yeah, but that looks like the end of the questions here.
Hey,
that is
so,
it.
Hey, just want to hope everybody wins that chip this week. You know, that's we've played all year for, and you've been lucky enough to make it through on this side. This has been a wild year with COVID, with injuries, with everything else, with players that haven't been relevant in a long time becoming relevant again in the NFL. It's pretty much just everything that you could think of has happened this year. But hey, you know, like I said on the live show, you know, like Kobe said, job's not finished. Job's not finished. So we got one more stepping stone to get through.
Flex spot for Mamba, number 7. Hollywood, AJ Dillon, Gore, or Elijah Moore?
Hollywood.
It's really tough to trust Hollywood, especially after how he's been. I mean, he's just not finding the end zone. I don't know when's the last time he scored a touchdown, but.
Well, it's been weird because they've kind of switched his role. Like he hasn't been seeing really any deep targets either.
Yeah. But ever since Lamar's been out, he hasn't been getting any deep targets down the field.
Well, I mean, he's still seeing a really solid targets though. That's not really the problem. I mean, 9 targets last week, 14 the week before that, 8, 7, 10, 13. But he hasn't had over 100 air yards since week 10. And he hasn't scored over 15 since week 9.
He had 10 catches for 43 yards against Green Bay.
Yeah. Mr. 1.2 average depth of target. But yeah, I'm still going Hollywood.
The Rams are middle of the road as well in terms of the amount of big plays.
Yeah, the Rams have allowed. Yeah, they've allowed some big plays.
They've allowed 45 receptions of 20-plus yards, which is kind of middle of the pack. You have the Bills down at the bottom at 28, and then you have the Ravens up at the top at 68. Like I said, Rams have given up 45, so they're middle of the road in that regard. Man, I think I want to start A.J. Dillon there. Just with how bad that defense has been. Yeah. Just feel like he's safer.
I think he has a higher chance to score a touchdown than Hollywood.
Yeah, so it's between. I give the edge to Dillon, but it's close.
Does it change anything for you? Who plays quarterback for the Ravens? Or does it just not change?
It doesn't matter to me. I don't think it really matters all that much who plays quarterback. And the thing with AJ Dillon is that he hasn't really done it. I mean, we've seen him drop back down to kind of where he was in terms of snap share and everything pre-injury to Aaron Jones, right? Because he played 39% of the snaps week 15. He played 43% of the snaps last week. He hasn't seen has not seen double-digit carries in any of those games. He's not really involved as a pass catcher. So he's really touchdown or bust. I mean, that's the only way he's only scored, the highest he scored was 10.5, and that was week 15 against Baltimore. That was because he scored a touchdown. So if he doesn't score a touchdown, that's what concerns me.
Steven, I think it is worth picking up Dare just because we have no idea what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's better to pick him up and have him, like, just in case some crazy shit ends up happening, Friday, Saturday night, something like that. So, worth picking up, even if you're not planning on starting him right now. But with as crazy as this year has been, if you have the space, if you're not dropping a surefire starter for to pick him up, I would definitely go ahead and do that. Victor wants to know Gerald Everett or Moreau. I'm going Moreau.
You remember I do have a question. I actually not thought about it. Was it who was it that had the really the 14 team league Paul, right? Yeah, Paul Miller. What about Cam Akers?
Nah, I can't.
I think it's actually an interesting spot if even
I can't.
consideration.
I don't.
I don't know.
So,
I still probably go Derek Gore, which is who I went with.
I mean, we agreed that Cam Akers is probably going to see between 5 and 10 touches.
But very well could be what all these guys see, not named Jordan Howard if Jordan Howard is out. So I mean that's really in line with what these other two can see too.
But
I mean it's not like those guys are like locks to see, any more touches than that.
But do we think that Cam Akers is going to see goal line carries?
I think it's possible. That's just I just don't know. I just think he's kind of an unknown this week. I don't know. I just would throw him into the conversation. It was something I just kind of thought about with him. I didn't really think about him as an option, but it would be tough to trust. But I think Keyshawn Vaughn and Derek Gore are going to be tough to trust too.
You guys are on Hollywood no matter what, correct?
I am. I think Walito's not, right?
I think I would go Dylan if it's Huntley. If it's Lamar, I'm going to go Hollywood.
Another one here from Victor: Zeke, D. Will, or Basson Scat.
I'm going Darrell Williams. Zeke is probably the safer play. He has looked a little bit better. He has scored double-digit fantasy points each of the last 2 weeks, but he's really touchdown dependent, to be honest with you. So the Cardinals on paper are good against the run. They've only allowed 5 rushing touchdowns on the season, which is in line with what the Saints have done. They've been gashed a ton, but over the last 2 weeks, Zeke 16.2 and 17.2 of his last 2 weeks. But he's also scored, a touchdown in each one of those games. Scored 2 last week, so that's kind of where I would view that. So, but I think it would be Darrell Williams. But if you want to go Zeke, just because I think he's a little bit safer, definitely has a safer floor than what Darrell Williams has.
I think I would go Zeke if it's half PPR. If it is full PPR, I think I'm going to lean Darrell Williams.
Yeah, I lean Darrell Williams. Zeke is close. Yeah, looks like we are all caught up once again. So Saturday, the Free For All show, if you guys want to join, can literally be talking about whatever. What we'll do if you didn't catch it earlier, we literally drop the link to join the show live in the chat. So if you're around, just sitting around, you want to kick it with us, hop on, talk football, talk life, movies, food, whatever you guys want to do. So that is going to be Saturday night. We'll also be live again on Sunday morning with another Start Sit show. Kev and Maddie going live tomorrow for the DFS show. And we are not going to have any Week 18 rankings, Start Sit content, anything like that. So if you're playing your championship Week 18, join the Discord. You can ask your questions over there, or you can drop them in the YouTube comments as well. We'll still answer your questions, but we're not going to be putting out any sort of content. Last one here for Jay Paca. Penny or Damian Harris? This one's going to be Penny from me.
Penny. And just for clarification, we will have the DFS show next week. We will have Week 18 NFL DFS.
I said no rankings, no start set.
I just want to clarify. I know the NFL DFS is what runs the place around here. Okay, everyone comes for the NFL DFS talk.
Are you and Tom back this week? Prop show?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I guess we could do something Friday potentially. We'll have to see. I'll have to see how Tom's feeling. His whole family has been fighting a pretty nasty sickness apparently. So I have to check in with old Tommy Two-Tone and see how he's feeling. But yeah, maybe some props. If not, I'll probably put out a solo show if Tom can't. But obviously that one will not be live. But yeah, plenty of content still coming up, and then the draft season really going to start to kick off. So please make sure you are subscribed. I'm going to take a little week hiatus next week, and then I'm going to start diving into the Senior Bowl and start putting out player profiles with that. Christian's going to make his appearance back on here as well, doing some player profilers. So plenty of content still to be had and still to be digested. So make sure you're keeping it locked in here. We appreciate all you guys. Good luck in week 17, and we will talk to you all very soon.